Okay, a great example about how men don't divorce, they simply just cheat. My ex-husband.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is a video of a sister sharing a story time of how her husband cheated on her while they were married. So apparently this whole video started off with a video. I already posted a video of this woman talking about how a lot of men, they don't seek for divorce, they don't ask for divorce. What they do is that they cheat on you rather than for them to get a divorce. And this sister decided to come on to share a story to talk about how her husband cheated on her 2 years prior before he asked for a divorce. So she went on to really go in depth into the story, but this is, let me break it down a little bit. Okay, so her husband was they were married. The husband met somebody and then decided to pursue something with this other lady, and even thought about getting the lady pregnant so that he can use it as an excuse to get a divorce from his wife. But eventually he still went ahead to tell her that he wants a divorce, and later on, a couple of days later, after she helped him to pack his thing, he pedaled back and say he wants her back. Crazy stuff. And eventually this sister decided to get in contact with this supposed girlfriend he cheated on her with, and the girlfriend found out, and they kind of share information and found out that this man has been playing both of them all along. Anyway guys, let's go check out this video, this story time, and then we'll come back and talk. Hope you guys are doing great, guys.
Men don't divorce, they simply just cheat. And this is
Okay, a great example about how men don't divorce, they simply just cheat. My ex-husband, when he let me know he was done with our marriage, he simply was like, on a Thursday, peace over the phone, like, I don't want to be married anymore. And then by that Sunday, he packed and left Texas and went back to our home state of New Jersey. But while he was packing that Saturday, he was like, oh, pretty much I fell in love with this girl 2 years before he wanted this divorce. And he couldn't, like, he didn't know how to tell her he was married, and he didn't know how to ask for a divorce, which doesn't make any sense. And that they met once for like a week, and that he was hoping to get her pregnant so that he can like use that as a sign to get a divorce from me. And so whatever, as that Sunday, he was like, oh, we shouldn't text, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just contact through email. I'm going to initiate the divorce. Once I get back to New Jersey, I'm done, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Fast forward, it's like a couple of months, and I'm like, okay, I'm not hearing from you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, well, I just like, I'm lost without you, and I want to work on myself, and I want to go to therapy now, and blah, blah, blah. And so I don't want to get a divorce. And I was like, skirt, skirt. I was like, yeah, no. And he was like, also, it's really expensive. And I'm like, well, if you already had this idea that you wanted to get out of this marriage, I hope you looked into it so you could see how much it costs, blah, blah, blah. And so, long story short, I initiated the divorce because he couldn't afford it. And then once the divorce was finalized, he was like, oh, well, does that mean we're over? Is our story no longer like continuing? And I'm like, sir, bye. Like, out of here. Bye. Okay, here's part two. A lot of people have been asking what happened next. And a side note, he sent me an email recently, like within the last week. But to get back to the story, my ex-husband let me know he wanted a divorce on a Thursday. Then he told me on Saturday how he fell in love with this girl. And mind you, I will disclaim, I did help him pack. There's a whole trauma family dynamics I have. If you want to know, I'll let you guys know. But I did help him pack. And he was just so giddy to talk about. He was like, oh, I loved her, and I messed things up and all this. She loves pineapple on her pizza, and she likes to work out with me, and blah, blah, blah. And when I met her family, and we went to Disney. Now, mind you, I always wanted to go to Disney. He never wanted to go to Disney. He thought it was childish. So if a man wanted to, he would, clearly. And he just didn't want to with me. And he was like, oh, this. So I made him call my parents and tell them that he wanted a divorce and for why. And mind you, my dad had cheated on my mom. So it was a full story like moment when he told my dad, and my dad was crying. And I'm like, yeah, karma came back through your daughter. And whatever and what have you. And then that Saturday night he was like, oh, we should get rid of each other's numbers. Our future partners won't appreciate if we have like we're texting and calling, whatever. Once I get back to New Jersey, I'm gonna initiate it so I could like move on with my life. And as you know, he tried to backpedal and was like, oh, I go to therapy. Like, no. And so like we did get divorced. But that Sunday, I get a call from Jersey area code, and I'm like, who is, like, watch it be this motherfucker. And guess what? It was this mother effer. It was like, oh, I drove my car into a ditch, and I don't know how to, like, who do I call? What do I do? I don't know. And I was like, are you serious? And I literally did not say a word. I hang up, I laughed, and I went about my merry way. And then he sent me an email like, I know I told you like we can't, but I really need help, blah blah blah. And I was like, I just respond to his email, please talk to me about the divorce process and the divorce process only. Bye. But if you want a part 3, there's a lot more. It was a drawn out process. Let me know. But yeah, bye. Okay, here's part 3. I have all the parts written down so I know exactly what I'm going to say. Just to recap, my name is Shania. My ex-husband let me know on a Thursday he wanted a divorce. By that Saturday, I helped him move, where he told me he fell in love with this girl 2 years prior. And by that Sunday, his car was in a ditch and he was asking for my help. So that Sunday, I found the girl on Facebook. I used all my little detective skills, all the information he gave me. I found her. I messaged her. She does respond. It will be in a later part because she responds 6 to 8 months later. And then, so at this point, we're 2 months post him leaving. He does email me asking me for money because he is late on his car payments. In his mind, he was going to go back to New Jersey. He was going to use his GI Bill to do trucking and then passive income, be a millionaire, live a great life. That did not happen. And so he asked me for $700 just so he could be 1 month behind so they won't repossess his car. Now, I said no. My mom said I should do it if I have it. Now, this is the same mom when I was a child. My dad had 2 kids and cheated on her, had 2 kids. And at one point, they lost their home, so my mom took them in and raised them for a year. So you can see why she said if I have it, I should give it. And then I said no because he already owes me $15,000, and to this day he still owes me $15,000, but that's a whole nother story. But I did fly home because I was originally planning on flying home. We met up to close our joint accounts. When we met at the Chase, I saw he wasn't driving his car. I asked him about it. He said that his new girlfriend let him use her car because he didn't have gas money, and that he's hiding his car so the people won't find his car, so it won't get repossessed. By the time I left New Jersey, his car got repossessed. And he then started trying to flirt with me. He was like, oh, you looking good on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, boy, like, you literally just said you have a girlfriend. You're driving her vehicle and you're asking me for money. So I don't know what you think is going to happen. He asked me if we could have sex. I said no. He was like, oh, like I miss what we used to have and did, and she doesn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like you don't think. And so let me know if you want a part 4. The long-awaited part 4. So just to recap, my name is Shania. My ex-husband did let me know on a Thursday that he wanted a divorce that Saturday. He told me he fell in love with another woman 2 years prior. That Sunday he was in a ditch calling and asking for my help. So by the time I got back from New Jersey, we have already been at the 2.5 mark since that initial conversation and him leaving. And so one of the things that I was focusing on like during that was like self-love and knowing and searching and finding a therapist. I did find a therapist. She was amazing, still is amazing. And so one of the things she told me from the get is that I was going to have to do homework. And so she gave me, well, I had to buy this book, but she recommended this book, and I'm recommending this book. It's on grief. It closes the loop. It made me do internal work into my childhood, see the first relationships I've had with my parents and how it got me to where I was. Great, amazing book. And so I was working on therapy, and it was like so like liberating that I even bought one for my ex my ex-husband, and I was like, here, you need this, blah blah blah, and he was like still sending me emails like this and talking about, please, like, we shouldn't be doing this, like, let's stay together, all this other things. And I was like, no, that's not gonna work. And so then I was finally ready to initiate the divorce. Now, I didn't do enough research, so I ended up using a third-party entity, and now know there's cheaper ways to do so, but that's fine. I'm still divorced. And so one of the things they needed was his address. So I contacted him saying, hey, I need your address because I'm starting the process. And he was like, oh no, please, like, I'm living with my uncle, and so he lost his job, he hasn't been paying rent, and so we're about to get evicted, and my car's already repossessed, so I'm gonna have to start sleeping in my girlfriend's car, and I can only take showers when her parents go to work, so please don't do this. Like, I need more time. Can we work like this out? I'll go to therapy, let's go to therapy. And I'm like, sir, your excuse is that you can't take care of yourself and your girlfriend is taking care of you, but you still want me back, but you have a girlfriend. Like, that is not going to work for me. Me and my therapist, we were locked in. We was like, nope, we're still moving on. And so that was that. So, part 5, my name is Shania. My ex-husband let me know on a Thursday that he wanted a divorce. That Saturday, I helped him pack, where he told me 2 years prior he fell in love with his mistress, and then she ended things shortly after. And then that Sunday, he got in a ditch and called and asked for my help. And so at this point, the divorce is already initiated, and, well, I have his address, so there's the third party is starting to send us paperwork, and he's like, oh, what if I refuse? I don't want to sign, like, we shouldn't be getting a divorce. And at this point, I'm like, no, the mission is we're getting a divorce. You asked for a divorce, you told me about you cheating on me, like, we are getting a divorce. I don't understand why you're trying to play these games. And then he was trying to be like, oh, like, you're the only, like, person in my family that's ever cared about me, even if I didn't acknowledge it. And he's like, oh, we can't be together. But you could just read the message. But pretty much he wanted to be like my parents. And backstory on that, after my dad had 2 kids on my mom, and then she ended things by the time I was 5 years old, to this day they have a pretty cordial, a little more than cordial relationship. And what I mean by that is sometimes my mom cooks him his favorite meals and like things like that, and he takes it back to his house, where his partner, the lady he cheated on my mom with, doesn't eat my mom's food and stuff like that. So it's a little weird. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to be like my parents, and the fact that you think that you can go out, live your best life, and I'm just gonna be here to support you after you cheated and after you want a divorce, that's not happening. We don't have kids. And so he really didn't like that. And then he started saying, oh, I'm going to go to therapy. Like, I could get us back. And I'm like, no. And then so his next thing was like, oh, I want to get a tattoo saying love yours, just to honor, like, the fact that I didn't do it. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, just give me your signature. Like, I'm paying for the divorce. Just let's get through this. And then he was like, oh, but like, I failed my CDL test. And remember, his whole idea was he was going to go to New Jersey, CDL, passive income, become a millionaire, find a new person. And so now he's living in his girlfriend's car, and it's not going the way he thought it was. And if you want to know what happens with the ex-mistress, she will, like, it will be in part 6, just let me know. And then the whole blow up when he finds out that, like, I had a conversation with her, and it was just a hot mess. But let me know if you want a part 6. Recap, my name is Shania. My ex-husband let me know on a Thursday that he wanted a divorce over the phone. That Saturday, I helped him pack, where he let me know that he fell in love with this girl 2 years prior, and that he lost her because she ended things. And then that Sunday, he was in a ditch calling for my help. So, like I said in my previous video, that Sunday, I used all the little information he gave me about her, and I found her on Facebook, and I messaged her. Fast forward to now, part 6, she finally messaged me back, because if you know anything about Facebook, if you're not Facebook friends with this person, it goes into their filter. So, first message that I do have, a screenshot, is where she's pretty much saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you guys, like, he was married, and so from my understanding, which I have to correct my previous statement. She was told that he was married, so she took it as he was married, he got divorced. In my head, I would ask clarifying questions, furthering questions, but that's just me. She had a vouch from her friend, so I could see how she thinks that would be the truth. Anyway, so then she then goes on to tell me, now I don't know why I was asking all these questions. I don't know why she gave me all the answers. And so this could be true, this could not be true, but like, why at this point, why lie? So pretty much she met him through, she was calling her friend, and we're going to call him Johnson. She was calling Johnson because she was dealing with heartbreak at her duty station, and he's her friend, and he was giving her advice and comfort. And supposedly that was the same, my ex was like hanging out with Johnson, and so he was like, oh, who's that, and then Johnson showed, like, I guess Instagram or Facebook or something of who she was. And so pretty much my ex asked to be put on. He put Johnson put him on, and they met like that. So she did tell me that he did come to Florida and spent a week with her and her family, and they went to Disney and Universal and all these other things, and she like kept apologizing and pretty much said like she has no contact with him, she doesn't want him, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm getting a divorce, so like I don't, like, if you want him, that's all you, but I know I'm leaving. And so she pretty much said the reason why she really ended thing is because not only when she came to New Jersey, he like played her, and it was from her understanding that he was living with his uncle, so that's why she got the Airbnb, but that he like played her, and then he was also cheating on her with other girls, as you could see by this message, which really baffles me, because this man he was like, oh, she was the love of my life. And so you cheated on your wife with someone that was the love of your life. Now, like, some people could be like, okay, like, I get that, cool, but how do you cheat on the love of your life, as you say it, with other girls? And so then I was like, she was like, oh, she apologized again, and that was the end of the conversation. And so just based on what happens next, I can assume that she messaged her friend Johnson, he messaged my ex, and then my ex sent me this. If you want to see how the rest of this conversation goes, please let me know. I could give you a part 7, but yeah. So here's part 7, my favorite part. Just to recap, my name is Shania. My ex-husband let me know on a Thursday he wanted a divorce. That Saturday, while I was helping him pack, he let me know 2 years prior that he fell in love with this girl, and she ended things off. That Sunday, he got himself in a ditch and asked for my help. That Sunday, I also did find the girl through some investigation, and this is months after, because Facebook Messenger, if you're not friends, you can't see the message, whatever. And so shortly after the previous part 6, where I show you the conversation we had, my ex messaged me. So this is the first one. And what had happened was she messaged her friend Johnson, for what I could assume. He contacted his friend, my ex, and my ex started going off. And so he pretty much told me that he worked so hard to ensure I would never find her. But I was like, you gave me so much information about her that it was very easy to find her. Like, that's you, not me. And I tried to remind him that I messaged her the day after he left. So this was months ago. And so the fact that she messaged me back and having questions, that's not on me. That's on you. It's really on you. But he did not like that. And so, like, this entire conversation, he's making it seem like I'm the bad guy. And I'm like, sir, I I did not cheat. I did not then give me all that information to find her. Like, that's not on me. You need to be better. And so he's upset that she's with this goofy, nerdy guy, and that he believes that I was just stirring the pot, and that it was my intentions to make sure that he doesn't get to go have his happy ending with her. And so he like assumed that this conversation happened the day after he told me. And I was like, no, that conversation happened today. And that's when all things broke loose, because he was like, well, if it was months ago and you moved on, like, you're happy, why would you answer her questions today? And I'm like, well, I feel like we both got played and screwed. And so she needs all the information to make the best decisions for herself, especially if I'm under the assumption that she didn't know that we were married. It's rude of me not to tell her that she was being played as well. And then he goes on to being upset. He says I'm tampering. He calls me diabolical. All these things that makes it seem like it's my fault. And he's always like, oh, his intentions was never to hurt me, but my intentions was to hurt him. And now he won't ever be able to get back with her. And that's pretty much my fault, my fault, my fault. And so all of these like things, and I was just like looking back at it, I think it's funny as hell. And then I was like, yeah, that's really not my fault. You can't blame me on this. And then he starts talking about like how he can't lose me and stuff like this. And I'm like, sir, like this is all in one conversation. This is all within a span of like an hour, 90 minutes tops. And I'm like, you just called me diabolical and evil. And now you're saying, oh, you can't lose me. Like, which one is it? If you would like a part 8, please let me know in the comments. Bye.
Okay. Okay. There's going to be a part 2 to this video. So let me know what you think about this story down so far. Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think. Okay. So this is really, really crazy. And I personally, I feel like we as women, we should get to that place where we start talking. Like, I'm really happy that we're talking to each other. But I also feel like when, if you're dating a man and said, oh, I was married, or da 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 da. I feel like now in the sisterhood that we're all in, I feel like it should be our responsibility to go talk to the wife so that we know exactly what we're getting into. Because some of these men, they will play the part and get you, love bomb you, get you there to say, oh, so when you don't talk to the ex, because one thing I always say that I don't know any woman that does not want a happy home. So if a woman is pushing on for a divorce, then something is wrong. And if you want to get involved with that same type of man, go do your research. Go and do your research. Don't go. One thing about some of us women, we'll go there and we'll start tussling. We'll start seeing the other woman like a competition, like rivalry and all that. Ask questions, because the mat may not be matching. So clearly, this man, he's broke. He doesn't have money. Two, he's obviously with both ladies for what they can do for him. And I'm not saying all men, but a lot of men, there are a lot of men are with women because of what the women can do for them. It could be financially, it could be physically, it could be sexually, it could be mentally, it could be spiritually. But if you're of no use to him, he will not be with you. And clearly this man does not even know what he wants. He wants to eat his cake and have it, because his plan did not work. He wants to go it the other way around. I'm so happy that this sister stood on business. And this is why, like, I always talk about how people should heal their trauma, because it actually helps you to be in a clearer headspace for you to deal with issues around life generally, including relationship. Because whether you like it or not, our trauma has build us on who we are and how we respond to things and how we attach to things. So by the time you can identify that you have issues, that's the first part. That's the first. By the time you understand, you identify that, oh, I have trauma, which is something that in my culture, in my society, is not something that women want to admit, or society, even men too, they don't want to admit that they have trauma and all that. And that has been going to a lot of dysfunctional family and relationship and marriage. So the fact that she's doing the work, she's doing the healing, she's knowing herself and all that, that helps her to also stand in business. And this is why we always talk here about how women, as women, that's our gospel here. Go heal your trauma, know who you are, what you are, and what you want out of life, and be intentional with your life. Because clearly this man wanted to eat his cake and have it. If this woman was still in a not on stand business, or this woman was still very cling on to him, or still very emotionally attached to him for one reason or the other, which a lot of us have been in that place where we're emotionally attached to people or things that does not serve us, she would have taken him back. But I'm so happy she clock it, clock, clock, and say, mm-mm, I'm not doing this. You want divorce, I will get it. And clearly, this man, and I just felt like the man met this other lady and felt he has more opportunity with this lady than her, and that's why he went for the divorce. But yeah, I really like when women people share their story, because I just feel like it's helping us as women to clock a game and know what's up. And if you are anyway want to get involved with a divorcee, or a married man, or somebody that was engaged before and all that, lady, and if you're the other way, that you were engaged with somebody before and you're not, or married somebody and you're not, you didn't continue, don't be very hostile to the other lady coming to you. Give them information to help them make better decision. And that's one thing that we should do for ourselves as women. Let's learn how to give ourselves information so we can make better information, because clearly this man was playing both of them. He was doing who can I get more out of with both of them. He does not truly love them. He does not truly want a commitment with them. He just wants somebody he can take their energy, their money, their everything. And he's broke. The fact that he's broke and he has options. Okay. Okay. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this amazing story time down in the comment section. So there's going to be a part two, which is going to be next after this one, a couple of hours after this one. So go check out the part two and let's catch up with the story. Me too. I'm doing the part two immediately now. So check out the part two. Go on and share your thought about this story time down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go on and share your thought. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.